I need you guys to stop talking and pay attention. Guys, guys. All right. So again, calculator inactive portion, it's not hard. Okay, they're not hard. Are there a couple hard ones? Probably. Does everybody understand that? But for the majority, they're not that bad. So here's what we're going to look at first. It says, which choice is the graph of y equals 4 minus x and x plus 2? Remember when we factor, those give us our x-intercepts, our answers. So what you want to look at is this one. If I take it out, gives me a negative 2. Let me run the pen so you guys can see that. All right, so let's start with that one to begin with. So this tells me that the graph has to go through negative 2. This one does not go through negative 2. This one does. Bless you. If we look down here, this one does, and this one does. So that only eliminated one. So now you have to be careful on this one, okay? This is where they try to trick you. Remember, we set factors equal to 0. I'm going to add this x over, and we get that 4 equals x. Okay, so that's where they try to trick you on this one. So it's not that the questions are hard, but there's little spots where they like to trick you. All right, so I definitely need it to go through 4. So this very first one goes through 4. C does not go through 4. And D does not go through 4. So our only answer choice that we could have picked is A. Now, why is it upside down? Because it has a negative x. So remember that as well. Okay, negative x makes it upside down. Any questions, number 1? Is it a hard question? No. Do I need my calculator? No. All right, same thing on this one. You guys were really good at this when we did it in class, and we did it all by hand, and then we did it on Desmos. But to do it by hand, the first thing that we need is to solve for y. We need to get it in y equals. So remember our steps to solve for y. Your first one is to move x. And then your second one is divide by the number with y. So right now it's a positive 2x. So how do I move it? Subtract 2x. I'm going to write it over here. Bring down that full negative y. You can leave it as 4 minus 2x, but I like to put it in order. So negative 2x plus 4. And then our second step is to divide by y. What is the number with y right here? Negative 1. All right, so here's where they try to trick you. Remember, if we divide or multiply by a negative, we have to change that sign. Okay, negative over a negative makes a positive. 4 divided by negative 1 is negative 4. We should be able to solve for y at this point. Okay. We also need to know that this is the y-intercept. So it will cross the y-axis at negative 4. Look at your first two. Where do they cross the y-axis at? Positive 4. We don't want those. We want negative 4. All right, look at the bottoms. See how they look exactly the same, just the shade is different, right? Okay. Remember how you work with the shade. I'm going to rewrite my formula down here, my equation. We plug in a point. We plugged in 0, 0. If it's true, we shade 0, 0. If it's false, we shade the other side. So we're going to plug in 0, 0. We can do this in our head. 2 times 0 is 0, so it doesn't really count. We're just left with negative 4. Is 0 bigger than negative 4? True or false? It's true, right? So we shade 0, 0. So this one is our answer. Okay. Any questions, number 2? All right, I don't see a lot of you writing stuff. You should probably be writing. What operation is it when you have two sets of parentheses next to each other? Add, subtract, multiply, divide. We're multiplying these. How do we multiply these two things? How do you do that? Kinda. How did we multiply these? What did we use? We used something to keep it organized. The box. It was a 2 by 2, right? You guys remember that?
Yeah.
That's okay. That's what this is for. So we have x and a 2, 3x, and a negative 3. What goes in this box? Not 4x. So x and 3x, which is 3x squared. So it should all start with 3x squared. That's how you know you did it right. Is it right good? This box is 3x and 2. What's 3x times 2? Okay, hold off on doing anything yet. This one is negative 3 and x, which gives you, just squish them together, negative 3x. The last box is negative 3 and 2, which gives you negative 6. Now, if you look, all of them end in negative 6. This is what we got to figure out. Remember, this is a big fat plus sign. What is 6 plus negative 3? Positive 3x. So your answer is B, positive 3x. Same thing as 6 minus 3. They're not going to give you hard problems, guys. It's not how it works. All right. So it says on line y equals mx plus b passes through the point 1, 6 and is parallel to y equals 4x plus 6. What does parallel mean? Okay, so what does that mean about their equations? They have the same what? Same what? Nope. It's lines. Not the same y-intercept. What's the other part of the equation? Slope. Same slope. So the only reason it tells you that is so that you just use this beginning of the equation. Y equals 4x, and then you put plus b. How would I solve for b? I plug in my point x, y. All right. What is your y coordinate? So 6 equals 4 times, what's your x coordinate? 1. And then we're going to solve for b. What's 4 times 1? Notice how it's easy. It's not hard stuff you can't do in your head. Okay. How do I solve for b? Minus 4. What's 6 minus 4? It asks what's the value of b? 2. Again, they're not going to give you super, super hard stuff. And if they do, it's going to be like 1 or 2 problems. So don't stress out about it. All right. We're going to come back to number 5. And we'll come back to number 6. Let's do the easy ones first. All right. Look at number 7. This is just writing equations. It says Joanna has a total of 50 coins in her purse. The coins are either nickels or quarters. The total value of the coins is $7.10. Which system of equations can be used to determine the number of nickels and quarters that Joanna has in her purse? What does total mean? Say it again. In all. So what's that operation? Add. What are we adding together? What does she have? Nickels and quarters, right? Yeah. And there's a total of how many of them? That's your first equation. So we're going to look for anything that has that. So there's that one. This one doesn't have it. This one doesn't have it. And this one doesn't have it. Is that a hard problem? No. Where does the other equation come from? How much are nickels worth? 5 cents per nickel. Quarters are 25 cents. When we add that up, we get a total of $7.10. So the only thing you have to do is that first one. Okay, it's a really easy question. All right. You'll get a lot of these questions in here that ask about the y-intercept or the slope. Okay, what does it do? So remember, the y-intercept is where you start. The slope is your rise over your run, or your rate. Okay. So the function f of x equals negative 0.25x plus 5 models the height of a candle x seconds after it's lit. What is the meaning of the y-intercept? So the y-intercept, remember, is where it starts. The initial height of the candle, the final height of the candle, the rate that the candle is burning, or the amount of time it will take. Don't make it complicated. Which one says where it starts? That's it. This one says where it finishes. What's the rate? What did I tell you rate was? That would be your slope. Does everybody understand that? They didn't ask about that. They asked about y-intercept. And then the amount of time is x. That's what it is. Is everybody good? Pretty simple questions. All right. The total cost in dollars of membership in a fitness center is given by the function C of M equals 20M plus 40. Here's what I do. I just write down the equation. They say M is the number of months. This is the cost. In dollars, how much is the cost of a membership for 1 year? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Why? 12 months in a year. So the number of months is 12. And then I'm going to add that 40 in. Okay. Think mental math, a long time ago. I know my little boy's doing it, so I know you guys have done it. What's 2 times 12? 24 and add a 0. Plus 40. What's 40 plus 40? That's it. Again, not hard questions. We will come back to number 10. Is everybody good? All right. X represents Sally's monthly paycheck and Y represents her monthly savings. Sally will save at least 20 more than half her paycheck each month. She can save at most $80 more than 2/3 of her paycheck each month. Her paycheck each month is at least $1,200, but no more than $1,850. Which system of inequalities represents these constraints? So all you're doing is writing equations, 4 different equations. So the first one, we're going to talk about her monthly paycheck. It says X represents her paycheck. So she will save at least $20 more than half her paycheck each month. $20 more than half her paycheck. Y represents her monthly savings. So how do I do this? First of all, what's $20 more than? Look at all your equations. What? Yeah, plus 20 addition. I just couldn't understand what you're saying. So plus 20. So if you look, every first equation is plus 20. Does everybody see that? All right. How do I do this? Do I do 1/2 Y or 1/2 X? Because they're all the same. Half of her paycheck. What was paycheck? X. So half of her paycheck, X. So half X. And then plus 20. So what's that eliminate? Mm-hmm. And if you look, this one says greater than, and this one says less than. So if you're not sure which one to use because you don't know your inequalities, let's move on to a different one and see if we can figure something else out. Okay. She can save at most $80 more than 2/3 of her paycheck. Say it again. 2/3, which one? What's paycheck represent? X. So 2/3 X. That's both of them plus 80. That's not really helping. Their signs are different. Let me see if I can do it without worrying about my signs yet. Okay. So I knew that was 2/3 X plus 80. I don't know if I can. I'm just going through it. Let's see. Her paycheck each month is at least 1,200. What was paycheck? X and 1,200. If you look, both of those are X and 1,200. Okay. But no more than 1,850. So still there. So my question is these words right here. More than half her paycheck. More than, at least, and no more than. At most. Okay, I don't even care about this one. Let's just look at these three. At least, no more than, and at most. What does at least mean? What does it just mean? I don't care about greater than, less than, whatever. What does it mean? So it has to be what? At least means that's as low as it goes. So it has to be, the number has to be what? Higher. So higher is greater than. So greater than starts out big and gets little. Okay, so that's greater. At most means that's as high as it gets. So it has to be less than. Less than starts out little and gets bigger. Okay, so now let's go back one more time. Let's look at this bottom one. Her paycheck, or X, is at least, we said at least was greater than. At least 1,200. So which one is that? Look at it. B. Which is exactly why we went over them. It's okay. Is everybody good? All right, look at number 12. Also a super easy problem. We've been doing this since the beginning of the year. A company uses the formula T equals 581S plus 150P to determine the total cost to purchase S computers and P printers, which formula can be used to determine the number of printers purchased given the total cost T and the number of computers purchased. So what are we solving for? What do all your answers have? P. So we're solving for P. Listen, don't worry about the S being there. What's on the same side but not with that P? What's on the same side but not with it? The 581S, right? It's positive. How do I get it to the other side? Subtract it. It doesn't matter that it has an S on it. We don't care about that. What we care about is getting this P by itself. So write what you have, T minus 581S equals 150P. What do I have to get rid of now to get P by itself? Yeah, divide by that 150. Perfect. There's your equation right there. T minus 581S over 150. And it has to all be on the top. Again, things we've been doing since the beginning of the year. I hope you're writing this down. All right. Look at 14. We'll go back to 13 and 15 at the same time. We'll do one and then the other. What is the value of X in the system of equations shown below? So this is those systems. If you have a calculator, you just type it, or you have Desmos, you just type it right in. But this one you can't use Desmos on. So we see that Y is by itself. We're going to put this into the first equation. So we're going to rewrite it. 5X plus 4, but instead of Y, I'm going to write the other equation 1 minus X and then finish it out. So it's a substitution. All right. What do you think I should do first in this equation? Make sure you distribute to both. You have to multiply by both. So we didn't touch the 5x. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times negative x. Yep, just squish it together. What is 5 minus 4? 1x. And you can put the 1 or not. It doesn't matter. Write what you have left. Plus 4 equals 1. How do I solve? Subtract the 4. And I get x equals 1 minus 4 is negative 3. It asks for the value of x. We are done. Guys, think about this too. If you don't know how to subtract positive and negative numbers, make a number line. Make a number line. Okay, we started at negative 4. I'm sorry, we started at 1 to negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where are you at? You're at negative 3. Is everybody good? If you have to. All right, so 13. Anytime you see a 0, that means you're going to factor. Okay, and we know how to factor. Remember, our first step to factoring is GCF. We're going to try to break it down. So we get x and x. Anybody know any factors of 121?
Oh, 11.
Close. It's not 11 and 10. It is 11 and 11.
Oh.
What do you notice? They're pairs. So we're going to do pairs and share. So x plus 11, 1 is positive. 1 is negative. So what would my two answers be? This one would be negative 11, yes. And this one would be? What does it ask for? What's the value of the positive 0? So which one are we going to pick? Positive 11. You guys know how to factor. We spent a long, long time on that. Anytime you see x squared like that, try to do, 10, 10, like I would do on my paper. I know 10 and 10 is 100. So I might have to try 11 and 11. And when I multiply that out, like by hand, multiply it out, I would get 121 and know that those are pairs. Okay. All right, what about this one? This says, what's the value of the smaller 0? There's that 0 again, so I know I'm going to need to factor. I'm going to break it down. Always break it down first to see if you have a GCF. So I have a 2 and 2 x's. Then I have a big fat minus. 8 is 3 2's and an x. And a minus. 24. What are some factors of 24? 6 and 4. So 6 is 2 and 3. 4 is 2 and 2. You could have picked any factors. You could have done 8 and 3. That's fine. It doesn't matter. Do they have anything in common? Not 2. So we're going to take that 2 out, and we're left with x squared minus 4x minus 12. When we have 3 terms, remember this 2 doesn't matter out here anymore. It only matters if you're just factoring. If you're trying to solve it or find zeros, that 2 doesn't matter. When we have 3 terms, we either do cheater method or we do slide and divide. Which one can we use on this one? Cheater method. What are your factors of 12 that add to negative 4? And it's got to be factors of negative 12 that add to negative 4. So think about your factors of 12. 1 and 12, one of them has to be negative. Will either one of those give you negative 4? No. We can do 2 and 6. One of them has to be negative. Negative 2 plus 6 gives me positive 4. Negative 6 plus 2 gives me negative 4. I wanted negative 4. So these are my factors. A negative 6 and a positive 2. Again, not hard factors. Not hard factors. What are my 2 answers? it asks you for the smaller zero. So which one's smaller? That's it.
That's weird when we let it, it's all of the zero.
You just forget. You just forget. That's why we go over it. Is everybody good?
Like, some of them I just forgot the time on
Go back to number 6. Number 6 is just like the last two that we did. We're going to factor it. It says, when is it equal to 0? That's finding a 0. So we have 9x squared minus 54x minus 144. And like I said, we're setting it equal to 0. Okay. First thing we're going to do is break it down. 9 is 3 and 3. 54 is 9 times 6. What is 144? 12 and 12. So they give you things that you should know. Okay, 121 is 11 and 11. 100 be 10 and 10. Easy ones. So 144 is 12 and 12. 12 is 4 and 3. So 223, 223. Do we have anything in common? Yeah, they make it easy, guys. So we take out the 9 and we're left with x squared. We have a minus. 2 times 3 is 6x minus 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4 times 4 is 16. What did I tell you about the number on the outside? Doesn't matter unless you're factoring, okay? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when you're solving. We have no number in front, so we can use the cheater method. I need factors of negative 16 that add to negative 6. So give me some factors of 16. 4 and 4. One has to be negative, but they add to 0, so it's not these. 2 and 8. Let's try negative 2 and 8. That adds to positive 6. Negative 8 and 2 adds to negative 6. So x minus 8 and x plus 2. What are your two answers? Is everybody okay with that? All right, the question says, how many units of its product does the company need to sell in order for the net income to equal 0? Which answer am I going to pick? Can you sell negative 2 products? No, so we have to sell the positive 8. You're not going to make any money. Is everybody good? If you're selling negative, that means you're paying people to take it. All right. Let's see. Number 5 is a long question. It's not hard, okay? I would suggest that this will be on a separate sheet of paper. Again, not long. I mean, not hard. It's really long though. So let me get a sheet of paper. And show you what I would do. Remember, you get as much scrap paper as you want. There is no, y'all, if you turn in blank scrap paper, you might as well just forget the test. Y'all understand what I'm saying? There has to be questions worked out. How many questions have I worked out on paper just on the calculator inactive alone? Almost all of them, right? So you should have stuff on your paper. All right, don't turn in a blank paper. So we're going to start with a couple columns. My first column is going to be X. My second one is going to be f of X. And my third one is going to be g of X. And this is just to keep it organized. So f of X was 1/2 times 2 to the X. G of X is 5X plus 2. It says, what is the largest integer value of X such that f of X is smaller or less than G of X? We want it less than or equal to g of x. So I'm going to start with 0. Start with 0. You got to think back. I wanted to start with this one on purpose. 2 to the 0. Anything to the 0 power is what? 1. Anything to the 0 power is 1. So half of 1 is 0.5. So all I did was plug in the 0. What's 5 times 0? Plus 2. Okay. So 0 works. Let's go to like 2. I'm just picking random numbers. There's no rhyme or reason. Okay. What is 2 to the second? 4. Half of 4 is 2. So I'm just plugging it in. What's 5 times 2? 10. Plus 2 is 12. Feel like this is going to take forever, right? I just got to keep plugging in. What else? What? Give me another number. Give me another number. Okay, we'll try 4. 2 to the 4th. Remember, that's 2 to the 4th is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. What's half of 16? Good. Okay. 5 times 4 plus 2. Since I'm doing the largest integer, maybe I should go a little bit bigger. What you think? Did you say what? 16? You might want to think about that. You gonna do 2 to the 20? Let's try a little bit smart. Let's try 8. This might not work. Let's try 8. So times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. What's 16 times 16? Do you guys know how to do that? Yeah, it sucks, right? 6 times 6 is 36. Carry your 3. 6, 7, 8, 9. Go over a step. 6, 9, 5, 256. What's half of 256? Gets crazy, right? Remember I told you this is not hard. It's just plugging in, but it takes forever, right? So this is one of those that you just move on. You don't get it, put something down, move on. 1 would give you 2, bring down your 5, 2 is 4, 1 and 16 is 8, 128. What's 5 times 8? 40 plus 2 is? Well, wait a minute, because we just got bigger, right? We need it to be less than, so it's somewhere between 4 and 8. Let's try 6. Yeah, you see how crazy it is? 6. All right, half of 2 to the 6. So 2 to the 6. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 and 4. 16 times 4. I'm going to go ahead and tell you is 64. What's half of 64? Half both of them. 32. All right. 6 times 5 plus 2. So what is the biggest x value to keep it less than or equal to? So not hard, just takes forever without a calculator. Got it? And I can foresee you not doing this question at all. Does that make sense? Just put something down, okay? Make it one of your last questions. Y'all see how I'm flipping through? Like, do that on your test. Flip through. You don't have to worry about it. gonna hold off on number 10. Because we haven't really talked about any of those, but I think that's it, all except for number 10. We will go over number 10 when we get a little bit closer to test day. So, I mean, we're close, but we're not that close. Do what? I didn't hear you. Well, you're not doing anything Wednesday. I mean, you will. It'll be a real short assignment. So tomorrow you'll get another packet. We will go over that packet Thursday and Friday, and then you test on Wednesday.
What time do we need to be here?
8:30, like a normal day. If you can get here a little bit early instead of, we'll get started whenever. All right.
Wait, this Wednesday we test?
No, next Wednesday.
Oh, that's it.
All right, Zoomers, I am done. I'm going to stop